I'm General Andrew Pickens, and I'm here to give you some quick pointers on surefire, you might call them panning methods. First mistake most panners just starting out make is putting too much material in their pan. And it's related to the size of the pan. Obviously, the bigger the pan, the more the material you put in it. But I like to use a 14-inch pan, and that's about enough material, about a half a cup. Gold is 19 times heavier than water, so it's got to be the heaviest thing in a pan if you've got gold in the pan. So what we're attempting to do initially is to stratify the material down so that the gold's in the bottom of the pan. So we do that by shaking, putting a little bit of water in, and then we begin to tilt the pan and encourage the material to move to the corner of the pan in front of the riffles. These are riffles. And trying to get the gold to accumulate in a corner down in here. And then by shaking, agitation, and even bumping the pan, we encourage the gold to go even deeper into the pan. And then we start slowly washing, not pouring, the lightweight material off. The gold is under the black sand. It's under the red sand if it's present, and certainly under the lead. Gold is twice as heavy as lead. So you'll sometimes wind up with lead shot, lead weights, lead sinkers. And I continue to bring the material back into the pan, washing the lightweight material off, which is the blonde sand, and watching for red sand, which is garnet, and black sand, which can either be hematite, magnetite, or iron ore. And then the gold will always be under the iron ore, under the black sand. So once we've gotten it to a point where the larger riffles are no longer effective, we turn to our smaller riffles and repeat the process. We're again trying to wash off the lightweight material and keep the gold underneath. And we're looking for gold to go over the surface of the riffles. So we come back in and re-stratify and continue to wash. Looking for black sand. Gold is going to be under the black sand. It rarely ever will roll up on top unless you haven't put either some jet dry or Dawn dishwashing liquid to break the surface tension of the water. Gold will float. Even flakes, even though it's 19 times heavier than water, gold will float. The smaller the amount of material we have in the pan, the less water you need to move the material around. I've worked this down to where there's nothing but red sand, black sand, and gold in here. If I had some clear water, I could probably... There's a little small piece here. I don't know if you can catch it with the light the way it is.
I see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like that's the only one we caught in that handful.
Okay.
One of the ways to get this out of here now is without a snuffer bottle, is to isolate it from the rest of the material. And I've got a clean area of the pan up here free of red sand and black sand, and I can just take my finger, and my finger has oil on it, which wants to repel the gold. See how that wanted to float just then? So I can bring it up here. Now, rinse my finger in here to make sure there's no gold on it. Dry my finger completely, have my gold vial in the pan with me opened up, and I can touch this with a dry finger and pick it up. And I verify that it's on my finger and just touch it to the top of the vial into the drop in. Now that's just a little piece at a time. If you got a lot of it, you want to isolate it and use a snuffer bottle or something.
Right.
That's the basic methods of panning. If you got a pan that's got the smaller riffles in there, the gold will rarely reach beyond that second riffle. If you got a lot of it in there, it wants to, just because of the amount, right?
Right.
But with just a little small piece, you're rarely ever going to wash it over those small riffles, gold shows up better against black, even better than blue or green. And the smaller riffles and the number of riffles here. The GPAA pan has like 4 or 5, and this one has 7. And then of course, you have the extra advantage of having these small riffles over here once you work the material down to just black sand, red sand, and gold.
Okay.